Hi everyone, welcome to my Facebook Live. I'm Jay Marie and I am a business coach, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the biggest mistakes freelancers make. So I'm going to give folks a few minutes to join and then we'll go ahead and get started. Got my notes down here so I know exactly what I'm supposed to be saying because I don't want to go off script. I want to make sure that that I'm saying the right stuff. So please excuse my notes. Got my notes. So okay. So again, my name is Jay Marie. I am a business coach for freelancers, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the biggest mistakes freelancers make. So if you are a graphic artist, if you are a virtual assistant, if you're a I don't know, a web designer, something like that, then this is going to be for you. So all the freelancers out there, take out your notepad because we're going to talk today about the biggest mistakes that freelancers make. So we'll start with number one, charging by the hour versus charging by the project. You limit yourself when you charge by the hour. So if you are out there and you're charging your clients by the hour and it's only a specific number of hours that you're working, you're kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face. You want to charge by the project. So when you sit down with your client to begin with, you want to make sure that you are that you're getting together with them to figure out how long this is actually going to take. They need to know up front how long this takes so that I've got my comments over here, so I want to make sure that I can see you guys' comments when you post them, or your questions when you post them. But anywho, you want to make sure that you're sitting down with your client and you're talking to them about how much this is going to cost. You want to look at how long this is going to take. All of that should be decided up front so that you're not sticking them with some price at the end that they didn't know about. You also limit yourself when you charge by the hour because you're limiting the amount that you're allowing yourself to make. You're limiting that to how good you are. So if you're really good and it only takes you 2 or 3 hours to pull something together, you're only going to make 2 or 3 hours worth of whatever your hourly rate is. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have an hourly rate. You definitely want to have an hourly rate. You just want to come up with a fixed price for the project prior to signing the contract, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But prior to signing the contract, you want to work with a fixed price, okay? You want to make sure that you're not incentivizing yourself working more efficiently. So the more efficient you work, if you're charging by the hour, like I said, you're not going to make as much as you would if it were a fixed price that you and your client came up with. So that's the first major mistake that a lot of freelancers make, is that they charge by the hour as opposed to charging by the project. So that's number one. Number two, neglecting to ask for referrals. I know this is scary. This has always been scary for me. I've been a freelancer for a very, very long time, and that was always the scariest part. Talking to them about money, talking to them about referrals. So number two is, as freelancers, we don't ask for referrals as often as we should. Each client that you work with, each client that you do work for, you should be asking for a referral when it's all done. And what I like to say is, Go into every exchange, every project as though you were going to ask for a referral at the end. This way, you have the ability to remind yourself, okay, at the end of this, I'm going to be asking for a referral. So I need to do top quality work. I need to do the very best that I can. I need to give them top notch customer service, all of that. Okay. So that's number 2, is that, we're always afraid to ask for the referral. So how do you ask for the referral? Very, very simple. You just do it. You just do it. You go to the client, and when they're thanking you and they're saying to you, you did such a great job. I'm so pleased with how this came out. Your work was amazing. That's when you slip it in and you say to them, thank you so much. It would be really great if you could refer your friends and family and your associates to me. This is how I stay afloat, is through through referrals. And so if you could just let everyone that you know about me, that would be great. And that will stick in their mind. Okay, so when I know that somebody needs web design work, or I know somebody needs writing work or VA work, then the person is going to always refer you. Also, if you're meeting with your clients in person, be sure that you are handing them multiple business cards, not just one, multiple business cards. That way, they have the ability to pass out your business card and keep one for themselves. So make sure that you're passing out multiple business cards. Okay. Number 3. This is the most important piece of advice that I can give you this evening. If you hear nothing else that I say, if you discount everything else that I say and say, oh, hogwash, that's fine. But listen to this one thing. The third biggest mistake that freelancers make, they work without a contract. It is imperative. I don't care who you're working with. You could be working with your mom, with your husband. You could be working with your kids, your grandkids. I don't care who it is, best friend from middle school. You need to have a contract in place, and that contract needs to outline specifically what it is that you're going to do for that person, what that person is going to do for you, okay? How much all of this is going to cost, and how long all of this is going to take. Those are the 4 pieces of information that are pertinent to a contract. What are you going to do for them? What are they going to do for you? How much is all of this going to cost, and how long is all of this going to take? Make sure that you get a contract no matter who it is that you're working with, okay? So that's number 3. Number 4, and the 4th thing that we freelancers love to do that is a huge mistake, is putting too much on our plates. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many times I've taken on way too much more than I should have. It's important that when you are working with clients, I like to say, work with one client, maybe 2 at a time, but preferably work with one client at a time. You can have your retainer clients on the side where you're doing little jobs for them, but it's really important that you work with your client to understand the job, understand what it is that they need, and appropriately carve out the right amount of time. If you're taking on too much, it's going to show in your work. And you don't want that. You don't want to show that, you've taken on too much to your clients, because then they're going to assume that, you can't do the job that you've been hired to do, and they don't want to pay you for that. So be sure that you are looking at how much you're bringing onto your plate, and only bring on as much as you can, not necessarily more than you can, if that makes sense. Okay? Number 5, the 5th mistake, the biggest mistake that freelancers make, they don't charge enough. You're not charging enough. I guarantee you're not charging enough. I can almost bet that you're not charging enough. So often we get ourselves in a situation where we don't feel, we have that imposter syndrome, and we feel like at any point someone's going to find out that we don't know what we're doing. And that's not the case at all. You want to make sure that you are charging your clients what you're worth. Okay? Not what you think you're worth, but what you're actually worth. And I can promise you that you're worth a lot more than you think that you are. If you're out there and you're doing websites for $500 and a full e-commerce website for $500, you're undercutting yourself. And that is just the wrong thing to do. Make sure that you are charging an hourly rate. I said don't charge by the hour, but your project will take a certain number of hours. And I have a video in my group that goes through how to charge. So you guys can take a look at that a little later, but you can take an hourly rate and you can decide how much it is you're going to charge for a particular project based on the amount of time that you want to work on it and based on the amount of work that it will take. So that's a whole nother video. Either way, make sure that when you are coming up with your amount, the amount that you want to make, base it on how much you want to make a year, not on how much you think that you're worth. Okay. Now, unless it is you think that you're worth what you really are worth, at that point, by all means, go right ahead and charge, that $75, $85, $95 an hour, because baby, that's where the money's at. And the whole goal here is to make money. It's not to, I know a lot of us are out there and it's fun and we like working with people, but the fact of the matter is you have to make a living, and making a living wage means that you're going to have to increase your rates. So just be aware that you're charging enough when you are setting up your rates, and when you are pricing out packages for your clients. Okay. Number 6. This is another one, and this is really risky. Number 6 thing, that biggest mistake that you guys make as freelancers is that you rely on too few clients. You get a client or two, they're on retainer, they pay your bills, and you're good. No, never rest on your laurels. Assume that at any time a client will go away. If you do that, you will always be prepared to bring in more clients. That is imperative. That is a huge mistake that we make. When we get these clients, we get a big client, we're super stoked, they pay us just enough to get our bills, and we're good. No, you need to constantly be out there searching and recruiting and asking for referrals, which was one of the tips that we just went over, asking for referrals, making sure that people know that you are hungry and you want the additional revenue to be coming in. So relying on too few clients to pay your bills is super risky. It's up to you to bring in your clients. It's up to you to ensure that you're making the money that you need to be making. So be sure that you are bringing in, or at least have some clients on tap that you can tap into when you are when you're ready to bring in more clients and more revenue. Number 7, seventh thing that we do, biggest mistake that freelancers make, they don't know when to fire a client. So this is a thing, and it sounds weird. It sounds crazy, like fire a client. When would you fire a client? There's a bunch of times, and I'll go through them in a second, when you want to fire your clients. But don't feel that you need to rest with a client that treats you poorly or does one of the things that I'm getting ready to discuss. You don't have to just sit there and expect a client to treat you any kind of way. You have the right, and it should be stated in your contract, you have the right to fire a client. That's the point at which the two of you decide this isn't working, we're going to go our separate ways. And then they pay you whatever is left on the contract or whatever is stated in the contract. And then they go one way and you go your way and the situation is done with. Okay. So just know that it's okay to fire a client. So when is it okay to fire a client? The first point is when they are taking more than they're paying for. So if they have multiple scope changes, and we've all been there, trust me, I know when you work with a client and they want one thing and then they change their mind and want another thing and they change their mind and want another thing. I understand that is treacherous, and it is a lot to have to deal with. So that's a point at which, if that happens too often, and this should be in your contract, it should state in your contract that you can only accept so many changes. So no matter what type of freelancer you are, you want to limit the number of changes that your client can make. That will limit the amount of work that you have to redo. Okay. Lack of respect or abuse. This has happened to me, and it's happened more than once. And let me tell you, it's important that you set it up in your contract that certain things won't be accepted, certain language won't be accepted. That's terms for automatic firing, getting rid of, stopping the contract, that type of information. That's null and void. If you use certain language with me, if you are rough with me all the time, if you're rude to me all the time, all of that is all grounds for canceling a contract. Lack of communication is another one. So if your client is just not communicating with you and they're not giving you the information that you need to be able to do your job, that's another grounds for canceling the contract. If they are not giving you the communication, they're not communicating, and you are essentially left to just assume the things that they want. That's not fair to you. So that can be put in the contract as grounds for canceling the contract. If the client doesn't pay, then they have to go. That's just the end of that. You don't work for free, and it's okay to say to the client, I'm going to stop working on your project until you've paid whatever is owed to me. Don't think that you must exist with not being paid. That's not the case at all. So it is okay to cancel a contract, and that again should be in your contract. Cancel contract if you're not being paid. And then lastly, if the client doesn't follow recommendations, but you're expected to clean up their mess. So if they are in a situation where you've given them recommendations, you've told them, if you're an online marketer, for example, and you've told them to do A, B, C, D, and they don't do that, and it messes up this over here that they were supposed to do, and they want you to clean this up because they didn't do what they were supposed to do, that's grounds for cancellation. So just keep that in mind, that there are times, these are just a few times, but there are times when it is okay to cancel a contract and to fire a client. Number 8, they don't ask for help. Y'all don't ask for help. Freelancers don't ask for help. It's just something in our nature. I feel like it's something in our nature that makes us not want to ask for help when we need it. It's okay to ask for help when you are looking for somebody to do a piece of a project that you don't know how to do. Even if you've got too much on your plate and you need to offload some of the projects, it's okay to offload onto somebody. You should have an inner network. And your inner network should be other freelancers that are like you and that provide services that are similar to yours, and some that complement yours. So if you're a web designer, you might have other web designers in your inner circle. You might have graphic designers. You might have writers, photographers. All of that should be in your inner circle, so that when you come across a project that is much larger than what you are normally used to working with, that requires more skills, you have some people that you can pull from, so you can bid on the project and everybody makes money. So just keep that in mind. Number 9, the 9th thing that biggest mistake that people, freelancers make, is not having a rainy day fund. I talked earlier about relying on too few clients. It's important that you have a rainy day fund, some fund where you've got money stashed. COVID-19 is a perfect example. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming. And so if you're out there and you're making money, but you're using up your money as quickly as you're making it, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot there. So just keep in mind that you need a rainy day fund. You need some type of fund that you can dip into when you don't have as many clients as you are used to having, or when you need additional help with your bills because a client left, or you had to fire a client or something like that. You should have some type of rainy day fund. And number 10, the 10th biggest mistake that freelancers make is they stop improving themselves. It's imperative that you are consistently and constantly improving yourself. You should be taking classes, online classes, in-person classes. You should be going through coaching. You should have a coach. You should have be a part of groups and be learning from other people. In fact, I have a group that I would love for you guys to join. If you are a freelancer, the whole purpose of the group is support. And it's called Freelancer to Boss. And it is a group here on Facebook. It's an amazing group. We've got great information in there, information about learning how to set your values, your core values, your mission statement, your vision statement, how to set pricing is in there. How to set your proposition, your value proposition, so that when you're working with clients, you know what value you're providing to them. All of that is in this group that I have called Freelancer to Boss. So it's the Freelancer to Boss Facebook group. Feel free to paste it in the search box and join up. I post new content every week, and there's lots of programs in there for you guys, online courses, all kinds of stuff. So that's number 10. Don't stop improving yourself. Consistently and constantly be improving. So thank you everybody for listening to me and for joining up. If you'd like more information on me, my name is J. Marie, and I am a freelance business coach. You can learn more about me at jmariedavis.com. That's J, just the letter J, Marie, M-A-R-I-E, Davis, DAVIS.com. So thanks again, everybody, for chatting with me this evening, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.